Hey everybody, welcome back to Three Swords Productions. Tonight we have Zoro versus Rob Lucci, and if you're new to the channel, I'm Steven, and this is Alex. Alex,
Hello.
you ready to get started?
I am.
Let's jump over to the game. All right, so this is a really good one we captured yesterday during our playthrough. I am piloting Zoro versus Alex piloting Rob Lucci. Now, Alex got a very attractive alt leader there, and so he wanted to play that one before I got a chance to play Rob Lucci. So that's okay because I was itching to play brand new Zoro. Alex, what do you think of that Rob Lucci deck after you got to play through it once?
I think if your opponent is sitting across the table with Rob Lucci, if it's not the alt art, it's Rob Lucci. If it is, it's Rob Gucci.
Yeah, it's Rob Gucci. I mean, he's stripped down. You see that yellow tie and the brim of his hat, man.
They put the detail in hard on that card.
Yeah, the attention to detail is crazy. So we're going to start out with a turn 1 Ezo here, and we're going to add a Whitebeard card to our hand. It's going to be Marco, okay? So this is the 4-cost Marco from set 2. We've got a blocker.
Not as good as the 5-cost. I also don't like the 4-drop Marco early. It says 4-drop, but you usually don't want to put it down on your second turn or third turn, whatever turn you have enough done, because if your opponent pops it and you're not at 2 or less life, it seems like a waste.
And I see you on your turn 1 here because you went second. You play brand new, and you add, what was that? Kuzan to your hand? No, Sakazuki.
Yeah, brand new grabs a Navy card and mills everything else. It's exactly what the deck wants. It's actually better than Spandam. 9 times out of 10, the playable cards are the Navies, and the cards you want in your grave are the CP9s. So brand new works better with Rob Lucci than Spandam, in my opinion.
100%. And back to me, I'm going to add a Whitebeard to my hand with Ezao, and it's going to be Edward Newgate. So we are looking at 2 Don left. And can we get aggressive with that? The answer is yes. We're going to come across for 7, and Rob Lucci's just going to take that, not wanting to counter out with any of its 2Ks. A couple of events in hand as well, so not incredibly comfortable countering out, which is going to take that early damage. Untap to 4 Don.
9 times out of 10, your opponent will take the 5. If you swing 7, they're definitely going to take that.
Oh, that's what it always feels like, right? You swing if your opponent swings at you for 6 early on, then you want to counter out just because they spent a resource, so you can too. And if they swing 7, that's too much. And if they swing 5, you just take it. It's kind of weird how my brain wraps around that one, but that is exactly my thought process when staring down opponents. So just so you guys are aware, and that's a 3rd Marco pickup. That's going to be a lot of 5-cost Marcos here, but hopefully we can find homes for them. If we see a bunch of Otamas, we're going to get some nice Marco advantage here, and going to come across for 5. So now we have to consider: will we counter out of this, or will we just eat a second life? Looks like we're going to counter out with a Borsellino, and that's a pretty easy counter out there. And Marco comes down to take care of the brand new. Not really a threat, but it is free advantage from the Marco, so we're going to untap. Go up to 6 Don on the Lucci side.
Yeah, 3Ks are not safe against Zoro with those Marcos in play. And neither are 5Ks if you have Otama.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was playing a game earlier against a Rob Lucci opponent, and they had some, I can't remember the card they had in play, but yeah, I mean, Otama plus Marco was a 6 Don answer, and that's basically a Marco on curve for New Zoro if they go second. And yeah, you are going to be staring down some punishment if you put 5Ks on the table in this format. I mean, oh my gosh, new 5-cost Marco is going to pop off. We're going to see that card stick around for sets yet to come. If you don't have 4 copies of that Marco, it is time to pick those up, friends. Let's go. Let's see those purchases.
Yeah, red players needed 4 copies of Vista when set 2 came out, and Marco just kicked Vista out of here and said, "I'm a better version of you."
Yeah. What if we took Vista and we stapled it onto a 6K? And what if we made it only 5 Don?
And what if the 6K could revive itself?
Oh my goodness, that's right. What if it could revive itself? And for cheap too, doing things we already want to do. So we're going to see Sakazuki come down, hopefully take out this Marco. But Marco's kind of a threat to take out because, again, we just revive it. So really, Sakazuki discards 1 card, and all you're being asked to do here is discard 1 card. Now, unfortunately for me, this is the most answerable Sakazuki ever played, and I just could not do it. So I picked up an event card right after the Sakazuki was played. Unfortunate. But we do have 2 more Marcos in hand, so we're going to have no trouble at all just putting another on the table.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good Sakazukiing a Marco, thinking it'll come back. You just got to kind of accept the fact that, hey, if I kill it and they revive it, it's tapped, I can swing into it. And every time they revive it, it's another event gone. The 5-drop is actually more easily killable than the 4-drop because the 4-drop can also get rid of character cards. You have to give up events, and if you see a Zoro deck giving up guard points and radical beams to save their Marco, late game that'll help you.
It could, but a lot of the times when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, will I need these cards to defend myself in the late game, or is my opponent going to be the one defending? And that's that's easy math to do when you have Marco on the table. Now, what's entertaining is that Sakazuki came down, discarded an event, and took out Marco. And you saw no event on the red side. So that was kind of funny that you had the line, but I didn't. But no worries. Second Marco comes down, no target. That is going to be an attack for 7. And it looks like you took that. And then you untap for, what is that? 8 Dawn on your side?
Yeah, Kuzan is a really good card. Even in Rob Lucci, he's just as good as he was in Smoker. Draws a card. But he also lets you kill 8 drops with Kaku. Or 7 drops, excuse me. And then he lets you kill 9 drops with Sakazuki. So he's still a threat. Just him on the board threatens any big card your opponent's playing because they swing, they minus the cost by 4, and then they kill it with whatever card they play next.
100%. Interesting interaction, though. Even if I protect the Marco by discarding an event, it is still dead, and Rob Lucci will get to attack again, which is pretty cool. So we were able to fully defend the Marco on this turn. We're going to untap and get to keep a 6K character, which is what we need against the Sakazuki because we are in kind of catch-up mode, and we're going to need to see something powerful here. But we do have 9 Dawn, and we have Edward Newgate in hand, so that is the kind of powerful catch-up that we need. Unfortunately, if we do play the Edward Newgate, we cannot equip Dawn to the Marco, and that's going to leave us in an awkward position again next turn as our opponent has 4 gigantic attacks coming across. We're at 4 life, though, so no real worry if we don't see, the Rusher Rob Lucci come down. No real worry about us losing the game, but this does mean that we can't pressure the Sakazuki when we want to exactly. So this is going to net a 1K character. Ooh, okay, and that went at life instead of character, but that makes a lot of sense. The character tech's probably just getting a 1K, and the life here is getting a life. So progress.
Yeah, the fact that you can swing on the Marco when he revives and tapped is really good if you already have cards on board that can swing onto it. So I didn't mind using the second Sakazuki. And then here, yeah, I swing with Kuzan, just going straight for life because I have the second best card that pairs with Kuzan, Kaku. Like I said, you can kill a 7-drop or lower.
Yep. And this is going to take out the Marco. So what's interesting here is that I decided to go life. I have no real shot of cleaning up the board. So instead, I want it to go, let's go aggressive. And hopefully I can just get you down with enough life here to win the game. So that's kind of a tonal shift, away from what Marco was trying to do to begin with. But I've been losing the board the whole game, so it makes a lot of sense to just go face there.
Yeah, black has a theme of just putting down 1 strong card every turn that also kills one of your cards. Mm-hmm. So I'm building up my board. And like I said, if you had revived the Marco, Sakazuki's would start getting in there to make sure he's dead. And 7K is nothing to laugh at.
How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah, I mean, what you see on board is the ideal thing. It's Kuzan first, and then it's Sakazuki, Kaku.
Exactly. I mean, that's the Kuzan really getting in work. And that's what happens. I don't really have anything besides my leader to pressure the Kuzan. So if the threats that I have cost 9, that means the Kuzan's just going to stick around. And that's really tough. So we're going to take that, go to 2, and we're going to counter out with Makino. This is eating cards in my hand, so I'm going to go to 1 here. And we don't have much action going on. In second Newgate is going to be really difficult to put on the table when staring down this extremely dense board from the Lucci here with only 1 life left, and pick up the 4th copy of Marco, which is just a slap in the face as we've drawn more Marcos than events this game.
Yeah, black has been
tough.
Smoker has always had a decent matchup versus Whitebeard in last set. They play big strong vanillas, and you kill big strong vanillas. It's slow. And that's kind of what black wants to do. They want to go slow too. They just also get the advantage of killing your stuff. Typically against Zoro in set 2, they only played 1-drop. Sakazukiing a 1-drop, not very good, especially when they play 3 or 4 1-drops in a single turn. But now that Zoro's much slower with the new Whitebeard package, actually raises the Rob Lucci power level because Rob Lucci also wants to go slow to get out their Ishos, Sakazukis, and much more.
Yeah, so we are looking at 4 Dawn here. Set to the side. So it is going to be how can we A, stop ourselves from losing the game, or B, win the game this turn, and those are very difficult asks. So we're going to start with Buggy to see if God has any answers for us today. We're going to look at the top 5 here. Radical Beam is quite the answer, so we're glad we prayed, and we're going to consider very strongly adding that to hand, because either it's going to be a 4K out, which can change the math against us, or it will be something for the Marco if we decide to play that. But again, very difficult corner that Rob Lucci has put us in.
Yeah, and set 2, Strawbeard was very successful, along with Boatbeard, but Boatbeard was a little more RNG. But one of the powers of Strawbeard was Nami being able to grab Radical Beams and guard points. And guess what? They just printed another card in the form of Buggy that can grab guard points and Radical Beams.
Right, we're going to see 12K come across at the Sakazuki. Now, that is a 7K leader, or 7K character, so it is going to require quite a few cards out of Alex's hand here in order to get out of. And then that's a very strong push against the Kuzan as well. So we are going the full board clear here with the Radical Beam in hand. This is going to be hopefully the distance we need, spacing required in order to get out of the next turn with our Whitebeard intact. We are hoping that this will be enough. We'll see. Now, this is another Buggy play, and that's going to add Whitebeard Pirates to our hand. So we do have one more Dawn to expend without a good counter. So we're going to look at the top 5 cards here and pick a Whitebeard character card and add it to our hand. Now, character is super important. As our last video you guys saw, we accidentally added an event Whitebeard card to our hand with Whitebeard Pirates, and I did want to call out that you absolutely cannot do that. So if you see us do it in a recent video, please disregard that and make sure to read your cards fully before you post videos to the internet.
Yeah, unfortunately, you saw 2 guard points on Izo instead of Buggy, and had to bottom deck both those. The best thing for counter power to grab with Izo is a Jozu. Unfortunately, you whiffed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely with. This game has felt like kind of a miss with the Zoro deck. Not really exactly the way that the Zoro deck is kind of meant to be played here, but that's okay, as we still have quite a bit of a strong showing. I mean, the Whitebeard here is feeling good. I mean, 9 Gate still feels as strong as it did last set. Absolutely. So, and Rob Lucci's going to come across the table for, what is that, 8 you have on it?
Or is that 9.
Or is that 9?
Yeah, 9's the big number. 7 is the number you want to swing on your opponent most of the time, unless you're playing against Whitebeard. And 9 is even better than 7.
All right, Kaku is going to come across for 8, and I believe that is game there. The Sakazuki has claimed it. Rob Lucci wins again, and we're going to go back to the booth. All right, so I mean, yeah, that was a really impressive showing from Rob Lucci, as you can just flood out the characters that are really massive. I mean, those big Navy characters. I know that the exciting thing is CP9 here, but those Navy characters still feel like they are the MVP of set 3. I mean, Sakazuki feels as good as ever. Kaku kind of replacing Kuzan, which definitely makes you a lot more Dawn efficient, but it is Kuzan plus Sakazuki that was the all-star in this matchup, and I think if we see Rob Lucci topping events throughout this set, this next season, it is going to be because of the Navy characters with Brand New as a new searcher, and not because of the Kakus with Spondum.
Ironically, the worst part of the Navy deck last set was Smoker. The Admirals are all very strong, all 12. And, a leader that can swing at a blocker and then discard 2 to untap and swing 15 again. Arguably better than one that only minuses a card 1 cost.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a very different world for Black right now, because in set 2 we were just relying on the Sakazukis. Now we have a bit more to back it up with with Blue No, the Rush Rob Lucci if we decide to start piloting that card, and now we have the Searchers, of course. So it's a different world, and it's a different atmosphere really. I'm looking forward to seeing can Rob Lucci actually put up results. I don't think so personally, but that's my very, very early set 3 opinion, is that Rob Lucci's not going to be good enough. But, matches like what we just saw are definitely steps to change my mind. So, you guys definitely continue to check out our videos upcoming. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like this video, give it a like, and, let us know what we can do better next time. If we made any mistakes, please let us know in the comments. Thanks so much, guys. We are really, really close to 1,000 subscribers. And it would mean so much to me if we got there in the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much, guys. We will catch you in the next one.
See ya.